Yes.
A couple of you. See the two statues underneath the green trees? Those two guys are actually responsible for the Olympic Games as we know them today. On the left you have Evangelis, on the right is Constantine Zapas. They were the Zapas cousins. They were living in Romania during the Independence War. They became extremely wealthy in the shipping industry, and they told the king, we're going to come back here, build our house wherever we want, rebuild the Olympic Stadium, and revive the ancient Olympic Games. So in 1884, 1888, and 1892, there was the Zapas Games, which was Greek athletes only, like the original Olympic Games. But then a French guy came here, and if you know his name, Baron Pierre de Dubercon. He saw what was happening, said this is fantastic, now let's open this up for the rest of the world. So then in 1896 we got the first Olympics as we know them today. I'm guessing you haven't made it to the original Olympic Stadium yet?
No.
Right, that's where we're going in a while. If you have the time, there are 4 things I'd highly recommend you do, okay? Into the Olympic Stadium is one of them, probably take about an hour and a half. The Acropolis obviously, the ancient Agora, it is the biggest and the best archaeological site you're going to find. It's what I do with my friends first when they come over, then we do the Acropolis. And if any of you are into museums, the National Archaeological Museum is by far the best one in the country, not alone the city. It is a little bit expensive at €10, but the minimum amount of time I ever spent in there was 3 hours, okay? It is well worth going to visit if you have the time. Now, that house, what do you notice about how it's built? It's identical on both sides, right? Any of you have a guess why? Even though they were cousins, they didn't like each other very much, so they're each going to live on their opposite sides. Now Evangelis, he was the brains of the whole thing, where Constantine was his secretary. But Evangelis got news he was going to die while the house is still being built. He was supposed to be very gracious about it, said it's fine, just bury me in my house. After he died, the decision was made he could not be fit into the house. And you see the size of it, so probably by the cousin who didn't like him. So they cut off his head and shoved it into the wall. So when you go inside, you'll see 2 portraits hanging down. On the right hand side, past the portrait, there's a plaque like that with 4 knobs on it, and the head is actually still behind there today. Now that building is called the Zapion. Those R's are P's in Greek. Any of you have an easy last name?
I do.
Coffee. Right. So drop the last syllable of your last name, add on the E-I-O-N, that bit at the end, and it translates as the house of. So the Coffeeon is the house of the coffee, and the Zapion is the house of the Zapas. You all get it?
Yes.
Take 5 minutes, go in, have a look around, I'll meet you outside.